it counts down. Anyway, so good afternoon, students, and I just want to welcome everyone to English 101. And in this video, we're going to go over the week 1 quiz. And so you should always watch my Zoom videos or attend my Zoom videos before you take your weekly quizzes. So if you do that, then you'll do much better on your quizzes. But the good thing about these quizzes is that you can take the quiz as many times as you want in order to get a good grade. It used to be you could only do it one time, but then they changed it. So this week's quiz is going to be about parts of speech. So have you looked in your textbook yet for parts of speech? Yes? No? Not yet. Okay. So you can access your textbook by going to modules, and then you scroll down, and then it's going to see week 1 readings. Click on week 1 readings, and that's how you get into your textbook. Okay? You don't have to worry about a vital source. I don't even know why that's there. So I guess some students want to buy the book physically, so maybe that's why it's there. But you can get the e-book just by clicking on week 1 readings. So welcome, student. It doesn't say your name, so student, welcome, Key.
I didn't change it. My name is Trishana.
Trishana, okay, all right. So nice to meet you, Trishana and
Nice to meet you as
Kiwana.
well.
How do you like the class so far?
I like it.
or
Excuse me?
hello.
I like it.
Okay, so hey, Kiwana, is that how you say your name?
Kiwana.
Kiwana, okay, I'll remember that, Kiwana. So welcome to today's lecture, and without further ado, I'll start my lecture on not the week 1 quiz, but pretty soon. So basically, before we start, today's lecture is going to be about parts of speech. What is a subject and a verb in a sentence? Verb tenses, subject-verb agreement. Then we're going to take the week 1 practice quiz. So if you can score 100% on the practice quiz, which is part of this lecture, then you're ready to take the week 1 quiz. So here is, but before I do the quiz, next week's week 2 forum. So in next week's forum, all you have to do is talk about time management, talk about how do you save time. And so I save time by keeping a schedule. I always stick to the schedule. I always do my homework when my family is asleep. Then number 2, what is going to be the topic of your narrative essay? My narrative essay topic will be why I became a nurse, or why I became a dental assistant. And then you could write, I became a nurse because, and then you would write the 3 reasons, and then these 3 reasons become your body paragraphs, and then you have your conclusion. Another sample post would be, my writing process is that I always do my writing in the morning before my family gets up. I make sure I set up a quiet place to study. I turn off my phone and my radio, and I sit down to do my assignments. And then I will write about, and then for her narrative essay, I will write about the most embarrassing event in my life. The most embarrassing event in my life was when I threw up all over my future wife when I first met her. And this event taught me to give people second chances. And this is actually a funny, very funny. So paragraph 2, she talks about when he first entered a military bar. Then in paragraph 3, as he's drinking with his buddies, he sees the most beautiful girl in the world enter the bar. And so he decides he's going to go and talk to her. And just as he does to talk to her, he threw up all over her. So that's the climax. And so that's how you build a story. You write the background, then you write what you were doing during the background, and then you write the climax, and then the conclusion becomes the resolution. So that's one way of writing the narrative essay. Second way of writing the narrative essay is you have 3 reasons. I became a nurse because I like helping people, and then you write a personal story about why you like to help people. I want to be a role model for my family. Then you write about why you like being a role model for your family by being a nurse, and that sort of thing. So with each of these paragraphs, you would write a different story about yourself. This is known as the multi-story narrative essay, and this is simply known as just a narrative essay with a moral. Okay, so those are the 2 kinds of narrative essays you're going to be writing about. So you're going to be doing 2 things next week. Next week, you're going to have a week 2 forum, and you're going to have a week 2 outline to do. So 2 things for week 2, and week 1, you just have to do your week 1 forum and your week 1 quiz. Is that clear for everybody before I start the grammar? Is that good?
No. No, can you repeat it? I'm trying to find a room in the school to where I can really hear, because I'm sitting over here out in the where this water is going off.
Okay, so I said for week 1, all you have to do is your week 1 forum and then your week 1 quiz. And then for week 2,
Okay.
you have your week 2 forum and then you have your week 2 writing assignment. That good?
Okay.
That was all I said.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So now we're going to go over the grammar concepts. So this is going to be the main, meat of today's lecture. Study this section carefully because the answers to the practice quiz, or the answers to your week 1 quiz, are embedded inside this lesson. So let's start today's lesson. It's going to be about parts of speech. So a common noun. A common noun is a person, place, or thing. So a common noun would be like a book, river, table. A plural noun. A plural noun means you got more than one person, more than one place, more than one thing, such as books, rivers, tables. So those are all plural nouns because it's more than one thing. A proper noun means that you have names, titles, names of people, places, and things. And you always capitalize your proper nouns. So examples of proper nouns would be King James, Uncle Steve, Aunt Janet, President Ronald Reagan. So those, and anyone's names are all proper nouns. So everyone get it so far? What is a common noun? Anybody? Person, place.
Place or thing.
What is a plural noun?
More than one.
More than one. And proper noun?
That's title. That's like the
Yes, people with titles. And also places and things are also known. So if I were to stick in France, okay, if I stick in France, England, or that sort of thing, and French people, any kind of people, okay, and French. So those are all proper nouns. So here is some quiz questions. Which one is a noun? A noun is a person, place, or thing. So A, ran, river, B, river, or C, lumpy. Which one is a noun? Of course,
B.
yeah,
B.
no. So here it should, I give you all the answers. So river, because this is a thing, therefore it is a common noun. What part of speech is ran? Even though we haven't gone over it yet, just to see it. Verb, because it's an action. What part of speech is lumpy?
Adverb.
No.
It's something.
Adjective. It's an
Adjective, yeah.
adjective because let's say I have a
know that.
lumpy
It's
pillow.
been a minute.
Yeah, it's
It's been a minute for me
For me.
where I'm like,
For real.
When did you learn all of these words? What grade were you in?
elementary.
Right.
Should be second grade, roughly second grade. I learned it in second grade. I remember because my teacher, I wasn't paying attention, and I said, and the teacher goes, Yvonne, what is a noun? And I had been daydreaming at that moment, and I'm like, see, you've got to pay attention to the teacher. So that's how come I remember second grade. Janet earned first place in the poetry contest. What type of noun is the underlined word? Plural, proper, or common? So here you have Janet.
Janet. See the name proper.
Yes, because it is the name of a person. My aunt makes the best chocolate cake. What type of noun is the underlined word?
Proper. Oh, that's common. Why is that a common?
It's because it doesn't have the name Aunt Jane. If
Oh,
I make
okay.
it, if I make it,
Gotcha.
if I make it Aunt Jane, then
Okay.
suddenly I have to capitalize aunt and that sort of thing. But if it's just aunt, then it's a person, place, or thing, and therefore it's a
Okay.
common noun. So if you don't have a name, you're common. That's one way of remembering it. Okay, a pronoun replaces a noun. A pronoun must agree with the noun it replaces, an antecedent. So an antecedent would be Janet. So that's the noun that she replaces Janet. So Janet is known as an antecedent. And therefore the pronoun has to agree in both gender, which is she, and amount, singular. So that's an antecedent has to always agree in gender and number. And so here you have two kinds of subject, you have two kinds of pronouns. A subject pronoun that comes before the verb and an object pronoun that comes after the verb. Subject pronoun is like he, she, they, we, you. Object pronoun, him, her, us, you, them. So Janet is fun, she loves movies. So it's incorrect to say Janet is fun, he loves movies, because Janet is a girl. Children are innocent. So here you have more than one, therefore you gotta have they are cute. You can't say he or she is cute because then it doesn't match the antecedent children. Excellent. A child is innocent. He or she is innocent, and therefore the pronoun agrees with the antecedent
A
child. Yes. What is the correct pronoun to use for the antecedent children? The children played with blank toys all day. There. Why is this the correct answer?
Because it's plural.
There's more than one.
More than one, and what else?
It's a place to show.
Shows possession. Shows, because them is also plural. How come we can't say the children played with them toys? Why is that wrong?
Because it's still more than one.
It is more than one, yes, but does it show possession?
Belonging to.
Does it show possession?
Yes.
No.
No,
Them does not. No, there does.
Oh, there does, but them don't.
Right. So if I were to write in possessive pronouns, which is what's missing, possessive pronouns. Can we name our possessive pronouns? My, his, her, their, our. Anything else? Did I miss any? My, his, her, their. Oh, your. And your. So, and also you have mine, mine. Yeah. Anyway, so that's there. So that way, did I put it in there? Yeah, there. So that's it for so far. That's all for nouns. Everyone good for nouns? Do I have to go over it again? No. Okay, so chapter 21, subject and verb. So in chapter 21, I go over the subject. This is chapter 21 is chapter 21 in your textbook, your Langen textbook, in case you're wondering where chapter 21 comes from. So the subject of the sentence usually comes before the verb, usually. There are some exceptions. The exception would be if I have, exceptions would be there plus verb plus subject, and also preposition plus verb plus subject. So those are the two exceptions. But normally, so if I say there are 4 chairs, I say there are 4 chairs in the room. So here, normally you have subject, the dog, verb, chased, the cat, object. Subject, verb, object, that's how you have a simple sentence. The dog chased the cat around the yard. Around the yard is a prepositional phrase. A preposition shows time and place. And so that's a simple sentence. Now the exception to this rule is that sometimes you have the subject comes after the verb. And this, the, is known as an expletive. In other words, it's a placeholder. And so here, there are 4 chairs in the room. And so chairs is the subject of the sentence. Are is the verb, and there is just a placeholder. It's known as an expletive placeholder. Preposition plus verb plus, so down the street is the red house. Okay, and so here you have prepositional phrase which shows time and place. Is the verb, and house is the subject. And then if I turn it around, it becomes quite obvious. Is down has the exact same meaning. Okay, so here you have subject, verb, and prepositional phrase. So you can have either one. And so in this case, you have the subject, verb, and object. But in all of these sentences, the subject does the action. The verb is the action, and the object receives the action. And the preposition shows where something is. And this is all known as active voice, because when the subject, okay, this is known as active voice because that's when the subject does the action. Subject does or the action. That's it. So that's known as active voice. When we write our essays, we tend to write in the active voice. True or false? Is that good? Everybody good on that? Yeah, this is all.
Yeah, I have a question.
We're still in second grade, but okay, go ahead.
This is Trisha. I was wondering, would this be on Canvas for us too? Or no?
Will this be on what?
On the Canvas app for us as well?
Yeah, I will be giving you these lecture notes. Oh, you mean this recording? Yes, I will be posting this to Canvas after this session.
So we can go back and rewatch it.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
You rewatch it as many. As a matter of fact, right now on your home page, if you look, scroll down and you see that I posted a lot of videos from last semester, and it says week 1. That's the week 1 from last semester. You could also watch that one as well. Although it won't have your beautiful faces on it, it'll have the beautiful faces of my previous students. But all this stuff is going to be the same. So if you want to watch that one or this one, that's up to you. I'll show you the home page in a second. So the subject, here's a quiz question. The subject of a sentence tells who or what the sentence is about, or who or what is doing the action. True or false?
True.
True, because the subject is always what is doing the action in active voice. Then you have two kinds of subjects. You have a singular subject. Oh, I get it now, because the person who's on the phone can't see what's going on and wants to watch the video. Yeah, okay. It took a second for me to go, why she wants to watch the video when she's here. Got it. Okay. Sorry. So you have two kinds of subjects, singular subject and a plural subject. Singular subject, the dog chased after the cat. Plural subject, many dogs chased after the cat. So then you have singular and plural subject. And so which one demonstrates a plural subject? The coats were packed away for summer. The coat's zipper was stuck. The coat's pocket had a hole. So A, yes, the coats without the apostrophe S were packed away for summer, because apostrophe S shows possession, and we're not talking about possessive pronouns. We're just talking about plural nouns. Okay, is that good for everybody? We just finished chapter 25. 21. We just finished chapter 21. Subject and verb. Just subject and verb. Okay, so then the next one is about verb tenses. Regular and irregular verbs, which is chapter 24 of your book. So when you have a verb, it shows action. And a verb can show time. You can have verbs in the present, like today I talk on the phone, or past, yesterday I talked on the phone, or the future, tomorrow I will talk on the phone. The simple past tense is formed when the verb ends in walked and talked. So when you have verbs that end in walked, ed, these are known as regular verbs. If you have irregular verbs, you cannot say I teached a lesson. I have to say I taught a lesson. You cannot say I speaked today. I would say I speaked yesterday. See, this is actually grammarly trying to correct it, okay? So if you want to correct, have free version of Grammarly, correct your grammar, that's how you would get free Grammarly. Anyway, so an irregular verb cannot have ed in the past tense. So those are known as irregular verbs. The past participle, yes. And then there's a whole list of irregular verbs in your grammar book, in which you have teach, taught, speak, spoke, spoken, and that sort of thing, and a whole bunch of break, broke, broken, and
I don't have a grammar book.
oh well, you get access to this the Langen grammar book when you click on week 1 readings, week 2 readings, week 3 readings, and the grammar book should then click into place, and it would say it will open in another window or something like that, and then you just click the other window. So yeah, and then of course if you want to buy the book, okay, then you can get it off. That's when you use Vital Source, I think. It's for people who want that physical book. And of course, and I think Amazon has it too, and I think I also have a copy also. In other words, an ebook that I haven't put that up yet. So anyway, the past participle is used with helping verb have, had, has. And so here, if I had past perfect tense, I had parked my car in the parking lot. So this is known as the past perfect tense, okay? So when you have a past perfect tense, you have one past action happening before another past action. I had brushed my teeth before I went to bed yesterday. So two actions in the past, one happening before the other. That is known as past perfect. Let me write this down. I had brushed my teeth before I went to bed. And so here, when you have two past actions, this is known as a past participle and also known as past perfect tense, because it is a past tense that happens before another past. This is simple past. And so present perfect. Present, anything that says the word perfect, okay? Past perfect, present perfect, future perfect tense, those are all tenses that have in it. So present perfect would be I have lived in LA for many years. Past perfect would be I had lived in LA for many years. And then future perfect, I will have lived in LA for many years. Do you want me to write that out, or do you get it? You got it. Okay. So, and also it's in your book too. And the present participle is formed by adding ing to the present. So basically you have many kinds of tenses. You have present tense. Let's see, you have the simple tenses. You have progressive tenses. You have perfect tenses. You have perfect, progressive. Those are the four kinds of tenses in English. And then simple present, okay, simple present would be I talk. Simple past, I talked. Simple future would be I will talk. And then progressive tense would be simple present, present progressive. I am talking. Simple, past progressive, forget about the simple. Present progressive, that doesn't belong there. Okay, so past progressive tense would be I was talking. Future progressive will be I will be talking. All of these are all completed actions. Then you have present perfect. I have lived in LA since 1985. Past perfect. I had brushed my teeth before I went to bed. Future perfect. I will have brushed my teeth before I go to bed tomorrow. Did I spell that right? Tomorrow, yeah. And then present, and then where am I? Perfect, progressive, future perfect, progressive, yeah. So perfect progressive is the next tense over. Present perfect progressive. This is where people get confused, because not many people use this. I have been listening to the teacher. And then past perfect progressive. I had been listening to the teacher. And then future perfect progressive. I will have been listening to the teacher. Now this is not in the notes that I gave you, so I have to redo that when I give you your notes for whatchamacallit. Because I already sent all of these this lecture notes to you guys earlier today. Did you get it in your mail?
Would it be in an email? Or
Yes, it was in the email. I sent it.
I have it.
Yeah, I just didn't add, this part is not into it. So I'm gonna have to add the updated one to everybody. So I gotta remind me. Yeah. Yeah, so I will resend all of this after the lecture. So you'll have these exact notes, so that when you watch the video again, you can then look at the notes. Or you don't have to watch the video again, you just look at your notes. So simple tense, the simple tenses means you have one complete action in the present, in the past, and in the future. So today I talk, yesterday I talked, tomorrow I will talk. Completed action. Present progressive. You have an action that's still not complete. It's in action. It's still in progress. I am talking right now. Yesterday at this time, I was talking to my class, and tomorrow at this time, I will be talking to my class. In other words, I have different classes and different Zoom sessions. Today is for your school, Fortis, so I am talking to Fortis on Wednesday. Yesterday, I was talking to LAPU, and tomorrow I will be talking to LAPU, but a different class. So these are all actions that are not completed. I have lived in LA. Here, when you have perfect tenses, you have one happening, two actions, one happening before the other. And the perfect tense is always the tense that happens before the other tense. And so I have lived in LA since 1985. And so 1985 is that past tense. So it's something that's happening in the past, but still continuing into the future. So that's present perfect. You have listened to me talk since, I guess, 1 o'clock. You're still listening to me, and then it's continuing into the future. So you have two different actions. I had brushed my teeth before I went to bed. Once again, the perfect tense, that anything with have is always the action that comes before. So you brush your teeth first, yesterday, then you went to bed. Tomorrow, you will brush your teeth again before you go to bed. So that's two actions in the future. So that's two completed actions in the future. You finish brushing your teeth. You don't still have your toothpaste coming out of your mouth while still on your pillow, right? You finish brushing your teeth, you spit it out, and you don't just, anyway, I'm just being funny. Present, perfect, progressive. I have been listening to the teacher. So here you have you have two actions in the past, but one action is not finished while going into another action. So that's, whereas this one, and so here I have been listening to the teacher when the phone rang. So that means you're still listening to the teacher, but then at the same time, the phone rings. And then this one, yesterday, I had been listening to the teacher when the phone rings, and then tomorrow, I will have been listening to the teacher when the phone rings. And what is the difference between I will have been listening to the teacher with I will be listening to the teacher? Let's say I change this to I will be listening instead of I will be talking. Okay? So if I said the difference between the progressive and the perfect progressive simply is that it happens more into the past. So if I say I will be listening to the teacher, or I was listening to the teacher when the phone rang, then that means that the two happened practically at the same time. If I have perfect, past perfect, I had been listening to the teacher when the phone rang. That means I've been listening to the teacher for several hours, okay? Several hours, and then the phone rang. Whereas in past progressive, I was only listening to the teacher for 2 minutes, and then the phone rang. That's the difference. So that anything in the perfect progressive happens farther into the past than anything that happens in the progressive tense, when you have two actions happening together. So if you are the writer and you want to write about something that happened in the remote past, then you use the perfect tenses. If you want to write about something that happened in the recent past, then we use the simple past and the past progressive. So usually I spend an entire hour just on this topic alone, but obviously I'm not. I'm just going through it very quickly. So do you get it? Is that good? Yeah? All right. So basically when you have verbs, it can show time, and it can show, it shows present tense, past tense, and so it has time. So verb tenses can also be active tense or passive tense, or passive voice or active voice. So verbs can be active voice or passive voice. Now in active voice, here, this is a passive voice. So when you have active voice, the car runs over the bird. Okay, so that's active voice. Why is this active voice? The car runs over the bird because the car is the subject of the sentence doing the action of running over the bird. Okay, so that is active voice. Passive voice. The bird was run over by the car. Here the subject receives the action of being crushed to death by the car. So whenever you have passive voice, the subject is receiving the action. Another way you can tell that something is passive voice is you have the be participle plus be verb plus past tense. Was is the be verb in the past tense, and then run is the past participle. The bird was run over by the car. So that's how you could tell this is passive voice. The car was run over? I don't think so. I think the bird was run over. Okay, the bird was run over. Okay, so here you have passive voice. So sometimes I don't want to say by the car. I just simply say the bird was run over. It's understood that the bird was run over by a car. So sometimes you don't, but it's still passive voice because the subject is receiving the action of being run over, and then you have be plus the past participle. Here you have active voice, the car ran over the bird. I just did that over here. And that is a active voice because the car is doing the action. The child is being run. I seem to want a lot of running over of people, huh? So the professor teaches English. So the professor is doing the action of teaching English. So therefore that's active voice. I am being taught English by the professor. So the students are being taught English. And that's what you guys said. So that's passive voice. So students are being taught English by the teacher. And so here, students is receiving the action of learning English. Therefore, it's passive voice. And then here you have a be verb, are, being, and then taught, past participle. So every time you have a be verb, are being, plus past participle, then it's passive voice, and also when the subject receives the action. So those are the two characteristics of passive voice. Subject receives the action, and be verb plus a past participle. Does everyone understand the difference between active voice and passive voice? Okay, I will take that to mean you understand it. All right. Yes. You have a question? Any questions?
No, I was just saying, yes, I understand.
Oh, okay. So when you have verb tenses can refer to time, such as yesterday I went to the store, today I stay home, and tomorrow I go to work. Now we start having quiz questions. So which one is not true about verb tenses? Verb tenses refers to a verb being active or passive. So can verbs be active and passive? Remember, we want something that is not true. So therefore it's not A. Verb tenses refer to actions in time and place and sequence. So do verbs tell you the future and the past and today?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So which one is not true? It's the middle one. So even if you don't understand what B means, you know that it's not A, you know that it's not C, the only one left is B. And so here the answer is B. Tense refers to how stressed the verb is in a sentence. What does that mean when I say a stressed word? Stressed is used in pronunciation. So if I want to say privacy, so here I'm stressing the first syllable, privacy. Now in Britain, they don't say it like that. They say privacy. They stress va instead of pri. That's when I'm talking about stressed words. That's in pronunciation and dialect, which is nothing to do with verb tenses. So B is the one it's not true about verb tenses. So the Brits are the ones I always say, and I don't have enough privacy. The internet and no privacy, they mean privacy. So it's just slightly different. Which one represents active verb tense? The child kicked the ball into the street. The ball was kicked into the street.
A.
A. Why is A the correct answer?
Because it's the action, the child kicked the ball.
Yeah, the subject, child, is the one kicking the ball. And why is this the wrong answer? Is the ball doing the kicking, or is the ball receiving the action? It's receiving the action, and also you have a be verb plus a past participle. That's how you can tell that it's a past. You don't see any be verbs here. If I was to say, something like this, and I change the sentence, then you have a passive voice. So A is the correct answer. Which sentence represents passive verb tense? A or B? The car was steered to the
A.
side of the road. Yes. So A. Why is A the correct answer?
Because the car was on the side of the road.
Yes, the car was steered. The car is receiving the action of being steered to the side of the road. And also notice how the verb is formed. Was steered. Will be steered. So if you have passive voice, it looks sort of like this. Passive voice would be is steered, was steered, is being steered, has been steered. So basically you see a lot of forms of be verb, is, was, is, has, or are being steered. Anything to do with, so these are all be verb. I just did a few examples. That's the be verb plus past participle, and that's passive voice. And active voice does not have that kind of construction. Then it just says steered, okay? Will steer, steer, and that sort of thing. So does everyone get the difference between active and passive voice? That's before I go on to subject-verb agreement, which is chapter 25 of your grammar book. Everyone get it?
Right, so I got a question. So active will be like I steer my car to the side of the road?
Yes, correct. So active voice would be I steer the car, Robert steers the car, Trishana steers the car. Exactly. You're doing the action. And then if I say the car is being steered by Trishana, that means the car is receiving the action of being steered by you. And also another thing is when it says by, that's a dead giveaway that it's also was steered to the side of the road by the driver. How's that? If I add the by, that's also a dead giveaway that it's passive voice. As soon as you got the by construction. All right. So everyone okay on passive and active voice? Yeah, okay. So subject-verb agreement. So when you have a subject, it's like if you have a singular subject, you have a singular verb, and if you have a plural subject, you have a plural verb. So Jane is. You can't say Jane are, because a singular subject does not take a plural verb. So singular subject, Jane, takes singular verb, is. Plural subject, Jane and Mike, take plural verb, are. So far so good, right? So we're going right into the quiz question. Which of the following is true about subject-verb agreement? If a subject is plural, the verb needs to be plural. If a subject is singular, the verb needs to be plural. If a subject is plural, the verb needs to be singular. And for once I didn't write what the right answer was. So what's the right answer to this question?
A.
A. If a subject is plural, the verb needs to be plural. So that's the first one. Jane and Mike are. So plural subject equals plural verb. And then here, these days when you have people with their pronouns, like neutral pronouns, in the old way of doing things, in the old grammar book, you would say everyone, everything, nobody, always takes a singular verb, right? And so the new grammar book would be everyone does their work. This does not show up on your grammar test, but this also is how we would write, like if you want to write pronoun neutral and you want to avoid using gender in your writing, then you could make it gender free by making everything there. Now there's a lot of controversy about that because some people don't agree with that. Some people want to go and stick by the old way of saying his or her. So that's where you've got, because a lot of people don't want the, so a lot of people think that they are neither male nor female and they are they or something like that. Anyway, so, but for our purposes, everyone, everything, nobody, nothing, each, and every always takes a singular verb and always takes a singular pronoun, his or her. So if you say everyone is in the room, everything is okay, nobody is perfect. So all of these subjects takes every man, woman, and child is in the room. I know that sounds plural, but every time you have any kind of indefinite pronoun, such as everything, everyone, nobody, nothing, each, and every, it always takes a singular verb. And so a gerund, if you have a gerund is an ing word that acts like a noun. Shopping is fun. So when you have a gerund, so it's called a verbal. Okay, that's a verbal is when you have a verbal is a verb-like word that acts as a noun or a pronoun. Okay, so when you have a verbal, which is also known as a gerund, then it always takes a singular, so this is known as a gerund sentence, a gerund subject. So a gerund subject always takes a singular verb. So eating at a restaurant, this is a gerund subject, takes a singular verb. And then over the hill sits a red house. So this one I already went over. Prepositional phrase, verb, and then you have your subject. So singular subject, house, takes a singular verb, sits. He sits, she sits. So if you can't remember so he sits, she sits, that's singular, so therefore singular subject goes with singular verb. And then if I switch it around, a red house sits over the hill. So red house, simple subject, sits is the singular verb, over the hill is the prepositional phrase showing location. Hovering overhead at the scene of the accident were several traffic helicopters. So which is the correct answer, was or were? Anyone?
Was.
Were, yeah, because several traffic helicopters. So this is the subject, plural subject, helicopters takes were. Then if I switch it around, it becomes several traffic helicopters were hovering overhead at the scene of the accident. And so that here you have plural subject, traffic helicopters, which takes plural verb, were. And then there were 4 chairs in the room. And so 4 chairs, plural subject, takes the plural verb, were. And so I did all of this. And so here, hovering over, this is your quiz question. Hovering overhead at the scene of the accident was several traffic helicopters. What kind of error is this? And then I tried to explain it. And this is going to be is it a subject-verb agreement error? Is it standard English or irregular verb forms? Or is it consistent verb tense? And so this hovering overhead, so we just did this. We know that it's a subject-verb agreement. I'm trying to get this whole thing together here. Yeah, so let's see if this works. Yeah. So this becomes A, B, or C. So which is the correct answer? Is it subject-verb agreement, standard English, or consistent verb tense? If I got rid of all of this, and it should look like that. Yes, it's A. Subject-verb agreement. This is the right answer because plural, because it says, and plus it's underlined here, but on your quiz, you're not going to have Grammarly to help you correct your mistakes. Anyway, verb conjugation. I am, you are, he is, she is, we are, they are, and then plural subjects. You, we, take plural verb are, singular subjects take singular verb is, and so on and so forth. And in the past tense, I was, you were, he or she was, we were, they were. And so it's incorrect to say I is. We'd say I am. You can't say he are. You have to say he is. And you can't say you is. You have to say you are. So here's a quiz question. Which sentence is correct? You was, you are, or you is?
B.
B. You should be able to sound it out, especially if you're a native speaker. You should be able to sound out which one is the correct answer. B is correct, yes. And so here, compound subjects, that's John and Mike. Compound subjects means more than one subject. So compound subjects, that's 2 subjects connected with and, also takes a plural verb. John and Mike are. Or singular subject, John takes singular subject. So far, so good. We've done this to death. Now we stick in or. John or Mike is not are. It becomes John or Mike is. So or changes everything. As soon as you see the word or, then the subject becomes singular. Okay? So if I say Annie or Roger, are or is? If I say Ann or Roger? Is, yes. It's all, or is. Now, when you have correlative conjunctions, what's a correlative conjunction? Either, or, neither, nor, not only, but, not only, but also. Those are known as correlative conjunctions. When you have a correlative conjunction, then what's going to happen is neither John nor his brothers are in the room, because we do the subject that's closest to the verb. And so here the plural subject, his brothers takes are. Then here, neither his brothers nor John, so the closest one to the to the verb is singular subject John becomes is. Yeah, that's what makes it different. It doesn't matter what comes here. What matters is what comes the second one. Always it matches the second. The verbs match the second subject. It doesn't match the first one. So if the second subject is plural, then the verb is plural. If the second subject is singular, if the second subject John is singular, then the verb is singular. Once again, here the second subject is plural, then the verb is plural. So that's only for correlative conjunctions like either or, neither nor, and not only but also. Okay, I don't think I have a not only but also example. And so let's go over this again. Neither John nor his brothers, is it is or are?
Are.
Neither his brothers nor John.
Is.
Either Pamela or her sisters.
Are.
You got it. Either her sisters or Pamela. Is. Pam or John.
Are.
Is. And as soon as you see or without the neither, okay? If it doesn't have the neither there, or the either, then or always is singular. What about Pamela and John? Are. As soon as you see and, it's always, and also if you have something like both and. So if I say both John and Pam are in the room. Anytime you see and, then it's always plural. So both John and Pam are in the room. Did everybody get all of this? Do I need to go over it again? No? Okay. So let's go over the quiz questions. So let's write in quiz question here. Quiz questions. Yeah, for the compound subject, which verb is needed? Samantha and Jacob ride, ridden, rides the A train to work. So it's Samantha and Jacob, so we know it's plural. So
Rides?
He rides, she rides, and that's not C, because he rides, she rides, that's for
A.
A, yes, they ride, we ride, Sam and Jacob ride the A train to work every day. So in case you want to remember it, to ride, I ride, you ride, he or she rides, they ride, we ride. That's confusing for people because the S usually stands for something plural, but in regular verbs, the S stands for singular. Go figure. Blame it on the Brits. They're the ones who invented it. Which statement notes the incorrect item in this sentence? This coat and scarf looks very warm, but the wind seems to go right through them. Which is it? Is it subject-verb agreement, consistent verb tense, or standard English or irregular verb forms? Coat and scarf? Looks? Didn't I just finish saying that S stands for he or she rides, and you have coat and scarf? Is that singular? Or first you have to ask yourself, is that a singular or plural subject? And we know plural. And so do we put looks or look for plural?
No.
We don't say we looks, we say we look. Yes, that's how you can tell. So therefore, this is a subject-verb agreement error. That's because they're asking you, why is this sentence wrong? So this sentence is wrong because the subject and the verb do not agree. So therefore, the answer is A. Everybody got that? Yes. So indefinite pronouns. So when you have an indefinite pronoun, it's always singular. Oh, we already did this. Nobody is perfect. Every man, woman, and child is in the room. And then with correlative conjunctions, either or, neither nor, it takes a singular verb if the subject close to the verb is singular. If the subject close to the verb is singular. Yeah. So either Alex or Hannah leads the chorus. Is that singular or plural?
Singular.
Singular, because it's only one Hannah. Okay, so Hannah is singular. So singular subject Hannah takes singular verb leads. So A is the correct answer. He leads, she leads. Okay. Oh yeah, so I was going over more. Or always singular verb, plural verb, and then Hannah or Steve, singular verb. Hannah and Steve, plural verb. Plums and oranges are. A plum or an orange is. So everybody got that? So are we done with subject verb agreement?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Consistent verb tense. Do not write verb tenses. Do not change your verb tenses unnecessarily. So if in your sentence you start the sentence with the present tense, then all your verbs have to be in the present tense. If you start your sentence with past tense, then all of your verbs should be in the past tense. You can't just mix and match your verbs because either something happened yesterday, you can't just say yesterday, today, yesterday, today. You're going to confuse your reader, okay? So that's why we stick to one time period. Okay, so if you're talking about yesterday, you talk about yesterday for that entire sentence. Talk about tomorrow for that entire sentence, you're going to talk about tomorrow. Otherwise you're time traveling or something. So if you begin your paper writing in the present tense, do not shift suddenly to the past tense. If you begin in the past, do not shift without reason. So you can shift tenses if you have a marker, like suddenly the earth shook. So let's say I'm watching television and suddenly the earth shakes, or as soon as you have some kind of marker. But otherwise, if you don't have a marker, then you keep to the same tense. So here, incorrect. The gardener breaks up the hard earth, added peat, and blends the soil evenly. So here, breaks is the simple present, blends is the simple present, and therefore added is inconsistent. That's wrong because that's simple past. You want everything to be simple present. The gardener breaks up the hard earth, adds peat, and then blends the soil evenly. That's known as consistent verb tense. Everybody get that? I think we're now going to third grade, roughly. Yeah. We're going along. Yeah. We're going up grade by grade. So in this particular, the reason why it looks a little different is I wrote the verb tenses for you earlier, and for this class, I wrote it later. So present perfect continuous is the same thing as present perfect progressive, just so you know. Here I wrote it as continuous, but it's the same thing. Progressive, continuous, same thing. So you can teach all of this to your kids. After you learn this, teach it to the kids, then it'll stick to you. So present continuous, I am eating, is the same thing as present progressive, I am eating. And don't ask me why different, grammar books say different, like continuous or progressive, okay? It doesn't really matter. All right, here's the quiz question. Dot searched for the $20 bill she had hid somewhere in her purse. Which statement notes the incorrect item? In other words, what is wrong with this sentence? Is it standard English or irregular verb forms, subject-verb agreement, or consistent verb tense? Who wants to jump in? Anyone?
Is it C?
Is it C, consistent verb tense? So Dot searched for the $20 bill she had hid. Yes, this is consistent verb tense, because otherwise if I wrote had, oh shoot. If I wrote had searched, then that's correct, okay? Dot had searched for the $20 bill she had hidden, or she had hid somewhere, that's correct. And, or, if I take away this, Dot searched for the $20 bill she hid somewhere in her purse. Then it becomes simple past. But because it's two different, it's incorrect. And also another thing is, if you're going to use past perfect, it needs to be over here, because past perfect always happens before something else. So for example, if I want to say, I had brushed my teeth before I went to bed. Always the past perfect happens first, not the other way around. So otherwise it makes no sense. Okay, so that's basic. That's because when you have the perfect tense, you have one action happening before the other, and the perfect tense always happens first. And a perfect tense is have, had, has, plus a verb. So the answer is consistent verb tense. So you need consistent verb tense in your sentence for the sentence to be correct. Everybody get this? Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Now we're going to do the practice quiz 1, and then you're done with today's Zoom session. All right. So if you can get 100% on this practice quiz, then you're ready for the quiz 1. The dog chased the cat around the yard. What is the subject of the sentence? Anyone? Yes. Yeah, C. The answer is C. Yes. Which verb is needed for the following sentence? A, B, or C? Leads, leaded, or lead?
Leads.
Leads. Yes, he leads, she leads. A. Which one is not true about verb tense?
B.
B, yes, because we don't say privacy or privacy. That's for pronunciation. We just did this one. Dot searched for the $20 bill she had hid somewhere in the purse. Which statement notes the incorrect item in this sentence? C, consistent verb tense. Which of the following is true about subject-verb agreement? A, B, or C? A. If a subject is plural, the verb needs to be plural. What type of noun is the underlined word? Plural, proper, or common? Proper, because it's a name and it's capitalized. Which statement notes the incorrect item in this sentence? This coat and scarf looks very warm, but the wind seems to go right through them. A, B, or C? A. My aunt makes the best chocolate cake. What type of noun is the underlined word? Common, proper, or plural? Common. Excellent. Which one represents active verb tense? A or B? A. The child. Active verb. Active verb means active tense. So the child kicked the ball into the street. So it should be active voice. So active voice verb tense. Anyway, so yes, so it's active voice. Which one represents active voice? Yeah. So which sentence represents passive voice verb tense? So the answer to number 9 is A. Active voice. Yeah. For number 9, which one represents active voice is the child kicked the ball into the street. And then what about number 10, passive voice?
A.
Yes, A. So here the car was steered because you have be plus a be verb plus a past participle. Which verb is needed for the following sentence? A plum or an orange were, are, is. Is. And plus this is pretty obvious. This is plural. This is plural. That's the only one that's singular. So that made it very easy for that one. For the compound subject, which verb is needed? Samantha and Jacob. Didn't we do this already? the feeling we did. Oh well. Anyway, okay.
Yeah,
So
practice.
yeah, the practice. This is the practice. So I think I have the same question twice. So you're going to memorize this and see it in your sleep. So which one is the correct answer?
A.
Yeah, so ride, because this is a compound subject. We ride, they ride. So ride, not rides, ride. Which one demonstrates a plural subject? Coats were packed away for summer. The coat's zipper was stuck. The coat's pocket had a hole. A. Okay, so plural subject. Which one is a noun? That was the very first one. Ran, river, or lumpy? River, yes. What is the correct pronoun to use for the antecedent children? The children played with blank toys all day. Is it their, them, her, and his?
There.
There. Which sentence is correct? You was, you are, you is.
You are.
B, you are. This one I didn't put in your whatchamacallit. Which sentence below shows active voice? There are several start times for the movie. The movie starts today. Thinking.
A.
Which one is the subject that's doing the action?
No. A.
Which one sounds more active? Which one sounds more dynamic and active? B sounds, yes, because the movie is doing the action of starting today, and this one is passive. There are several. It's also got a be verb there too. So that's a dead giveaway of passive voice. The subject of a sentence tells true or false. The subject of a sentence tells who or what the sentence is about and who or what is doing the action. True or false? True, yes, because subject always does the action. Hovering overhead at the scene of the accident was several helicopters. What kind of error is this? Standard English, subject-verb agreement, or consistent verb tense? B, yes, subject-verb agreement, because you have several helicopters were. That should be correct. So you could take it again if you want, and these are all the correct answers. And then this is for your essay. So when you write your essay, your thesis statement, and then you have 3 reasons, and then the 3 reasons in your thesis statement will become your body paragraph. And then when you have a thesis statement and matching body paragraphs, this is known as a 5-paragraph essay structure. So I'll let you read the rest. There's not much left to read. Okay, and that's it for today. Today's lesson is really short. And did you enjoy today's lesson?
Yeah.
Yeah, you enjoyed it? That's good. So every not every week, but every time that we have a quiz, the week before I will give you it's only this week because it's the first week, that the same week we do the prep, that we also take the quiz. But in subsequent weeks, like in week 2, my week 2 instructor session will talk about the week 3 quiz. And then the week 4 instructor session will talk about the week 5 quiz. And the week 6 instructor session will talk about the week 7 quiz. So each quiz, you have a quiz in week 1, week 3, week 5, and week 7. -1, and if those are the only Zoom sessions you attend, you at least attend the quiz ones, so you get 100% on your quizzes. So always -1. So if it is a week 5 quiz, you're going to remember, I got to go to that week 4 instructor session. If it's a week 6 quiz, -1, I got to go to that week 5. That sort of, it's easy to remember that way. If you're so busy, you don't have time for any of the other Zooms, you got to go to the Zoom session before a quiz starts. So that's how you can remember. That's how you can remember it. And then for your essay, week 2, let me think, because I have to remember the right school. Oh my goodness. Week 2, week 4, week 6. So my other school is the odd numbers, which just makes it so confusing. Theirs is 1, 3, and 5. Yours is 2, 4, and 6 is essay 1. Okay? So week 2, week 4, week 6, you're all going to be working on essay 1. Yeah, your narrative essay. Whatever you're doing in week, so weeks 1 through 6. How's that? That's easiest to remember. Weeks 1 through 6. The first half of this class, you'll be working on essay 1, and then the 6 through 12, you'll be working on 2 other essays for the most part. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
And weeks 1 through 6, you're going to focus on learning essay structure, and then the second half of the class, you're going to focus on learning APA. Okay? So therefore you can see it in your mind. That's how you write an essay. You visualize it in your head so that when you write it down, it's all easy. That I also teach you for pre-writing, writing, rewriting, which are the 3 stages of the writing process. That's why you have 3 different 1, 2, 4, and 6. Writing, pre-writing, writing, rewriting. So those are the 3 stages, and then you're going to write 3 different drafts of your paper, and you're going to do practice drafts in your forums, and after week 3 you'll be doing peer review, and I honestly encourage you to participate in the peer review after week 3, in the sense that I know that a lot of people just like to agree or disagree with it. Oh yeah, I agree that gun control is very necessary, and then they don't write anything more. But if you try to say, you know, John, your thesis statement needs work, you can really help out other students. Okay, I know you're all very busy, but at least do one of your posts to other students. Look over someone's paper. Then the other one you can just chit chat if you want to save time. This way you get to help other people with their papers. So I will go over what is a peer review in week, I think it's week 2 or 3. Week 3. Yeah, week 3. Well, it doesn't really matter. But I will go over what is a peer review in a future Zoom lesson. So anyway, that's the end of today's lesson. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. We're going to do on Sunday.
What is due on Sunday? Okay, this week, all you have to do is week 1 forum, week 1 quiz. That's it.
Okay, right. I thought.
You thought so, yeah. So, yeah, and so Sunday is when week 1 quiz is due. Yeah.
Sunday. What's due today?
Due today is your week 1 forum, your initial post.
Okay.
Yeah, your first
forum is that's a discussion.
week 1 forum. Yes, correct. Yes, that's
Okay,
a discussion.
okay.
Is there separate ones for that? Because like,
Yes.
when I'm reading
Yes.
it's like the introduction, but then it showed a second one underneath. So are you writing 2 different posts?
Yes, because when you have your first post introduces who you are, so that's due on Wednesday. Then your second post is your post to students. That's what's due on Sunday. Okay, so you have 2 deadlines. You have one The reason why we do it that way is if you post earlier, then people have time to read to read your post. If everyone posts on Sunday, is anyone going to read it? I don't think so. So that's why the first post is due on Wednesday, and then you have until Thursday through Sunday to read everyone else's post and post it to students. This is why the first post is earlier than the second post. And this is throughout this entire class will be like this. I don't know if your other classes do this. Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So just get used to week 1. First post Wednesday, and then post 2 and 3 is due Sunday. That's how
But it all can go together, right?
You can do it all. You can do it all to if you want. Yes. For this forum, yes. For this forum, you can do it that way. But in future forums, you would make your first post by Wednesday, and then you look at other people's posts on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah. Any other questions?
So you want me on next week?
Every week you have a forum. Was that your question?
No, I'm saying we won't have a Zoom next week.
Oh, every week you have a Zoom. Every week I do. We are required, faculty at this school, every week we are required to give a Zoom lecture, a live lecture. That's part of the job. That's what the boss wants. The boss actually wants a minimum of 1 hour. And my other students tell me that in their other classes, their Zooms run 4 hours. Especially if you're doing a content class like anatomy or physiology or something that's a core class for your major like nursing, and so it takes 4 hours to talk about the parts of the body, which shows how or biology, one of those classes, chemistry, biology, those can run for 4. I remember going, wow, mine only goes for 2 hours, but theirs go for 4 hours. So I thought I was. But as a nurse, it is important to know the parts of the body. So that's what my students in my other class said.
Do we have to be on live with you? Or we can listen?
You can also listen. It's up to you. A lot of people like to do it live so they can ask the teacher questions. They could stop the teacher and go, What are you talking about? Can you explain that again? So it's up to you. You decide if you want to be here or not.
So if we don't join the group, the Zoom is not like points
No,
deducted or anything?
not for this class. This is not a core concept class like psychology, biology. I think for those classes you have to attend. That's my understanding of it. Because but you have to ask the teacher. Always ask the teacher if it's required or not required. Because for this class it's not required, but I'm guessing your other classes it probably is required. So yeah, you got to sit through 4 hours, and because it'll be on some kind of test. So yeah. So I'm just saying. So for this class, no, it's not. Just for the quizzes, you should show up just so you could do better on the quizzes. So people usually decide for themselves that they'll do better on quizzes if they participate. So that's up to you to decide if you want to come or watch the video. But I always advise people to watch the video or just study the notes, either one, depending on how you study, you know. But always either look over the notes or watch the Zoom before you take your quiz.
I responded to 2 classmates. Is it a certain way that you want us to respond?
Not for this forum, no. For this forum, you can respond any way you want. It's only for peer review forums that I'll be teaching you a certain way to respond.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it will be noted?
Yes, it will be noted. Yes, I will grade to see if you just simply say I agree with you on this. I don't agree with you. If you don't try to help improve the other person's paper, you will get a lower grade. But if you just simply just agree or disagree with a topic or something, because the whole point of a peer review forum is to help other people improve their. That way, you would get feedback, and you give feedback. But I'll go over all of that in a different Zoom, not this one. I'll dedicate an entire Zoom to explaining how to do a peer review forum. Okay? Okay. So this Zoom is just week 1 quiz. All you have to do is get the week 1 quiz and get an A on your week 1 quiz. That's all you have to do for this week, outside of your week 1 forum. So if you know your week 1 quiz, you're good to go for today. Okay, everyone good? Yes. Yep. Okay. So I am going to say goodbye, and I hope to see you all next week. Next week will be prep for week 3 quiz, because week 2, every time it's the week before a quiz, I will be prepping. So next week's video or Zoom will be about prepping for the week 3 quiz. And so I'll see you guys next week, okay? All right. So see you all next week. Okay. Bye.